To begin our journey, we need to first paint the portrait of the house of Judah before and during the time of Esther. You see, Aunt Esther lived in Persia, in the land of which the house of Judah was carried away captive by the king of Babylon, which was later conquered by Persia. That is, the Persian kingdom in which Aunt Esther lived around 479 BC. However, when we look back at history, before the time of the Persian Empire and before the time of the Babylonian Empire, we arrive at the time of the Persian Empire, which laid siege to the cities of Judah, which included the city of Lachish. And after breaking the walls of Lachish and ransacking the city, the Assyrian army would return home and commemorate their victory at Lachish by chiseling a snapshot of both the Persians and the nappy-headed sons of Judah. And these unmistakable, prominent Negroid features are on display today at the British Museum. And available online for anyone to see and confirm that Israel was indeed a Negroid people. The stone monument dates back to around 681 BC, which was before the time of the Babylonian Empire. And with that, let's take a look at how we can view and confirm the Black Israelites etched in stone in the Lachish relief. We begin by typing the words British Museum, Lachish Relief in the search bar. Then next, scroll down and select the first British Museum link. And then make sure you're on museum number 124911. That's 124911. And then once you're on the page, you can view the Israelites by navigating to the bottom of the page and locating the tiles at the bottom of the page. And then select the fourth tile from the left. That's the fourth tile from the left. And you can find the Israelites on the page by locating the prisoners on the page with beards. With their hands raised or laying prostrate before the king. And you can notice the prominent, nappy, woolly hair of the Israelites. This is just one confirmation that the Israelites were and are a Negroid people. Did you know that researchers in Israel refuse to publish DNA data regarding ancient DNA samples taken specifically from the territory of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi? Any guesses why that is? They publish samples from northern Israel, but refuse to publish samples from southern Judea. Why is that? Perhaps it's the blood of the ancient Negro, which matches your blood, that they're afraid of. However, even though Judean DNA isn't available, we do have the skulls from the ancient city of Judea called Lachish, in which all the skulls were identified as Egypto-Nubian, aka Negro skulls. As the following reference reads, it reads, Archaeology and Forensic Anthropology, the 701 BCE time capsule of Lachish. And it reads, no ancient Judean DNA samples have ever been formally published. But we do have a time capsule of data from 701 BCE found at the Judean city of Lachish in the form of a mass grave that was excavated there. And the next reference reads, the first report on the Lachish skulls included a thorough examination of pathology, metrics, artificial deformation, and epigenetic affinity. Utilizing craniometrics, Risden concluded that the group was fairly similar to dynastic Egyptian material. In fact, he stated that the entire population was of foreign origin, representing descendants of a group derived primarily from Upper Egypt. Skipping ahead, he concluded that the group was fairly heterogeneous, having close relationships to North African, Egyptian, and Nubian groups, thus lending support to an Egypto-Nubian presence. Researchers at first appeared to be confused with all the black folks in the city of Judah, declaring them a population of foreigners. However, researchers later confirmed that these were not foreigners at all. They were in fact native to the land of Judah. As the next reference reads, and it reads, one of the first to oppose the idea of an Egyptian origin was Keith, who felt that the Lachish inhabitants were markedly different from Egyptians. Though his analysis was rather anecdotal, others have since concurred, arguing that the people of Lachish were indigenous, closely related to pre-Middle Bronze Age skeletons in Palestine and the modern-day Bedouin. Now that we've established the blackness of Israel according to the British Museum and cranial analysis, we can now take a closer look at Israel's Babylonian captivity with greater accuracy. Let's begin by reviewing the genealogy of a descendant of Jeconiah who was led into captivity in Babylon and eventually into Spain and Portugal. And once there, he changed his name to Negro. According to the following genealogy, some of the sons of King David were taken into captivity into Babylon, while others were taken into Spain. Now, this particular record details a son of King Jeconiah taken into Babylon, whose descendant, Zerubbabel, would later leave Babylon and eventually make his way into Spain with the other sons of King David. And once in Spain and Portugal, some of the descendants of King Jeconiah, king of Judah, renamed themselves Negro, as the following reference reads, and reads, Yaya, a Portuguese family of the Middle Ages, members of which were prominent in Portugal, Spain, Italy, and Turkey. Certain individuals of the family bore the additional cognomen Negro, with reference to the Moors from whom several of their estates had been obtained. The more prominent members of the family are as follows. Now, according to this genealogy record, these Negroes moved from Spain to Portugal to Turkey and then to Poland. That's Spain, Portugal, Turkey, Poland. Spain, Portugal, Turkey, Poland. In other words, the descendants of these refugees today would match ancient DNA extracted from Spain, Portugal, Turkey, Poland. And with that in mind, let's take a look at ancient DNA matches of the so-called Negro today. And for this example, let's take a look at my DNA matches in mytrueancestry.com. And here you'll notice ancient DNA matches in Spain, Portugal, Turkey, Poland. That's Spain, Portugal, Turkey, and Poland. Identical to the genealogy listed for the sons of the Negroes, the descendants of Jeconiah. Not only that, we can also find DNA matches identical to the profile of the Bavarian Jews, who have matches in Hungary, Bavaria, Northeast Germany, and Southern Russia. You see, family, many Negroes today carry the names of Portuguese and Spanish Jews, and they don't even know it. In fact, the name Negro itself is a Spanish and Portuguese Jew surname. Yes, we are literally called by a Sephardic Israelite surname. And you can also find famous, well-known so-called African Americans with Sephardic surnames, and they don't even know it. For example, if you open your web browser and type in Sephardic surname dictionary and press enter, then you'll find a link called Sephardim.com. Now click on the link, and then once you're on the web page, search the Sephardic dictionary for the name Sanders, as in Deion Sanders. And yes, as you can see, the name Sanders is a Sephardic Israelite name, and many don't even know it. And ironically, Coach Prime is headed to coach in the Pac-12. And not only do we find Coach Prime in the Sephardic Israelite database, we can find many other famous athletes in this database as well. So many people today are debating who is the greatest NBA basketball players of all time. Is it MJ, Michael Jordan, or LeBron James? Well, you know what, family? Don't even worry about it, because both LeBron and Jordan's last names in the Sephardic Israelite database, as well as your favorite Charles Barkley, who loves criticizing fellow black folks whenever he has an opportunity. Now note, Charles Barkley's last name is spelled differently in the dictionary. However, phonetically, it has the same pronunciation. Now that's just terrible, just straight terrible. That's just terrible.
Well, what about me? What about the Big Diesel?
Well, similar to Charles Barkley's name, you can also find a derivative of Shaquille O'Neal's name in the Sephardic Israelite surname database. Although his name is spelled differently, phonetically it sounds similar.
So you saying I'm a Hebrews to Negroes?
Man, that's just terrible. That's just straight terrible. And once you realize Sephardic Jews were consistently described as black, using old references published in the early 1800s or older, and that many of these Jews come from the area near and around the city of Lachish, and that they would look identical to the picture of the Lachish Jews displayed at the British Museum. And also, once you discover that roughly 800,000 to 600,000 of these dark-skinned, woolly-haired Jews were persecuted and expelled in Spain and Portugal less than 10 years before the start of the transatlantic slave trade, sent to the exact locations in Africa where the transatlantic slave trade would begin less than 15 to 20 years later, and that the Manuelian laws which govern the transatlantic slave trade were specifically authorized that these Sephardic Jews be taken as slaves. You will understand why there are several so-called African Americans today with Sephardic, Israelite, Judean, House of Judah names. And so now that we have a better understanding of the physical description of the captive house of Judah in Babylon, which later was conquered by Persia, let's read the story of Esther, which describes the Most High Yah's deliverance of the swarthy, woolly-headed house of Judah people. We begin our story with the southern kingdom of the house of Judah, taken away into captivity by the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. Destined and prophesied to toil in the land of their captivity for 70 years. However, long before Judah would be freed, the Babylonians would be conquered by the Persians, and Judah would be persecuted by a descendant of Esau's son Amalek, and Seir the Horite. The descendants of Esau, who had a perpetual hatred for their Judean brothers, planned and schemed Judah's demise. But Yahuwah, however, would have other plans for the princes of Judah, turning Esau's attempted curse into a blessing, which would lead to the rise of Judah through the acts of Aunt Esther and Uncle Mordecai. By the favor and grace of Yahuwah, Aunt Esther would go on to marry the king of Persia, gaining the grace and favor of the king, and placed into a position to protect her people, the house of Judah. As the following reference reads, and it reads, "Now in Shushan Palace there was a certain Jew, whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So it came to pass, when the king's commandments and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan Palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, with such things as belonged to her and the 7 maidens, which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maidens unto the best place of the house of the women. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. And so Esther would go on to marry King Ahasuerus and become queen of Persia, perfectly positioned by the Most High to make intercession on behalf of the house of Judah directly to the king when the time would arise. As the following reference reads, it reads, "So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti." And so once Esther was established queen of Persia, Mordecai would help protect her kingdom by foiling a plot to overthrow King Ahasuerus. As the following reference reads, and reads, "In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, 2 of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth, and sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther, the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king. Trouble in the kingdom of Persia was averted, or so they thought. For storm clouds were gathering on the horizon before the house of Judah. For Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, descendant of Amalek, also a descendant of Seir the Horite, would become enraged at Mordecai for not showing him reverence and bowing down in his presence. As the following reference reads, and it reads, Now it came to pass when they spoke daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them. And they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. And he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, There is a certain people scattered abroad, and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all the people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it pleases the king, let it be written, that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand, and gave it unto Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, The silver is given unto thee, the people also, to do with them as thy seemeth good to thee. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month. There was writing according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. In the name of King Ahasuerus was it written, and sealed in the king's ring. And the letters were sent by post into every king's province, to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all the Jews, both young and old, little children and women. Shalom family, it's your brother Benaiah Ben Israel, and I trust you're doing well. This is just a reminder that if you would like to continue watching the rest of this broadcast along with other videos, please join us over on Hebrew Connect TV and Patreon Benaiah Israel channels. Now, going forward, we plan on posting partial videos on YouTube and the complete videos on Hebrew Connect TV and Patreon channels. And to view these videos, simply click on the link located in the description box below in the video. And also, to log in, you can log in using your existing Google credentials for HebrewConnect.tv. All right, and if you're wondering the reason for the move, well, based on our analysis of the Benaiah Israel YouTube channel, I calculated that YouTube has removed roughly 20,000 subscribers from the Benaiah Israel YouTube channel over the years, which is a staggering amount. And we also see roughly 80% of the subscribers removed each week, along with 80% of the views being suppressed. This 80% reduction is in line with YouTube's stated 80% shadow banning policy beginning in 2019, released in the press. In other words, family, these platforms are actively attempting to prevent us from effectively communicate with our own people on social media. And with that said, we're opting to use our own social media platform and ditching the digital overseer. And with that, family, if you would like to check out new Benaiah Israel content, check us out on Hebrew Connect TV or Patreon. Because yes, family, we definitely have some new, shocking information to share with you. And so, family, I hope to see you there. Stay blessed and shalom. Hebrew Connect TV. That's Hebrew Connect TV. This is not just another social media platform. It's the #1 social media platform for Israelites. Yeah, this one here, this is a game changer. It's a platform owned by Hebrews and operated by Hebrews. It's your ticket off of the digital plantation. It's a place where Israelites can go to find biblical answers, join online fellowships, listen to truth music, post and watch videos and animations, learn the Hebrew language, find the latest news, and if so desired, join a community. This is your digital city of freedom, where you are free to like, share, post, and subscribe to any video that you want, without having your videos shadow banned or your subscribers mysteriously sucked off and kidnapped by aliens. This platform here is Share Unfiltered, the way social media is supposed to be. A free and fair platform for all Israelites. So join us today in our digital city of freedom, HebrewConnect.tv. That's HebrewConnect.tv. And subscribe to the social media platform of freedom, the #1 platform for Israelites.